Hi, I'm first class Mia Huncharek, and I'm an operations research and computer analysis major. And essentially, it's an applied mathematics major with a little bit of computer science. So essentially, the OR major boils down into three tracks. It's optimization, statistics, and computer science. So in statistics, you start with classes like probability theory, and then once you get into the coding of Python, you take a class called computer modeling languages, which is really like just the intro coding course. And then for optimization, you also take a class called intermediate deterministic models, which essentially ties in what you've learned in like your other theoretical math classes, and you get to apply it to computer science. So the OR major has quite a few internship opportunities, both that are related to the Coast Guard, and then also you can have like private sector internship opportunities. So some of the ones that are available within the Coast Guard is that you can have an internship down at Coast Guard headquarters doing like different kind of analysis. You can also have internships with the NSA. In my case, I had an internship with the Idaho National Lab, which was technically an electrical engineering internship, but since OR was so closely related to EE, I was basically able to kind of like cross over into that realm and do that internship. And during my time at the Idaho National Lab, I did quite a bit of coding, and I was essentially trying to create a program that detects different kind of cyber attacks. So I was really able to do like hands-on application of my major at a different unit that is not the academy. The OR capstones can typically cover a wide variety of subjects, but they usually revolve around optimizing and allocating Coast Guard assets. So for instance, some projects include like how many helicopters need to be at a certain air station in one region of the country. And it really is like the culminating project that ties in everything that we've learned throughout our 4 years. And it's really a hands-on application that can then be handed off to like a certain unit and actually be implemented in real life. So after graduation, there are plenty of opportunities to apply your OR degree. For instance, you can go into a cyber or cryptology unit. There are also plenty of opportunities for graduate school, and you're always welcome to come back and teach in the math department here at the academy.
Hello everybody, my name is First Class Luke Arsenault. I'm an electrical engineer here at the Coast Guard Academy. Electrical engineers study many different things, whether that's from signals, software engineering, filters, or circuits. We cover a wide base of anything to do with technology, computers, or sound systems. Some classes electrical engineers here take, starting freshman year, is Electrical Engineer 1, which is basically just learning the basics of electrical engineering, different types of circuits, and how to look at electrical circuits and solve problems with them. Another fun class that we take sophomore year is DCCS, which is Digital Circuits and Computer Systems. Really fun part of that class was we got to do a mini capstone where we broke into teams and built different projects that incorporated digital circuits and digital chips and kind of like that logic behind electrical engineering to help create some really neat projects, whether that was like a whack-a-mole game, a random number guessing game, or even a system that helps run an elevator, which was really cool. Another really fun class we take is linear circuits, and that's looking at filters and how like things like noise canceling headphones, how does that noise canceling piece of the headphones actually work. So we got to design filters that would be implemented in noise canceling headphones, which was really cool to see. As seniors in the electrical engineering department, we start our capstones really early, like right off the bat, and we go throughout the whole year, both semesters. My capstone this year is the ASV team, which is the Autonomous Surface Vessel. So basically we're building an autonomous boat, a boat that can drive itself, in the hopes that come next spring we can take it down to, come next June we can take it down to Daytona Beach, Florida for a national competition with other schools, and put it through its paces with different obstacles and challenges and test its autonomy. Overall, electrical engineering department is a great department to be in. I have enjoyed my time here in the major, and it's been very beneficial. Some applications after graduation in the fleet with electrical engineering is cyber command, which is going into cybersecurity realm, stuff like that. It deals a little bit with coding and whatnot. There's another service called C5IT, which is kind of like the whole IT side of things, so like network engineering, and kind of mapping all the systems that the Coast Guard has, and dealing with all of that. After the Coast Guard, I mean, there's an infinite number of possibilities, whether it's getting into the tech fields or getting into, you know, the private domains or even the contractors for the government. I mean, electrical engineering is everywhere. This past summer, I did an internship with Microsoft, and to create that partnership with Microsoft was amazing. And to be on the cybersecurity team there and use the skills that I've learned here at the Academy to help Microsoft cybersecurity team build new products and build new techniques to defend cyber domains of other companies was really beneficial and rewarding.
Hi, I'm First Class Oliver Simon from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I'm a fourth year in the government major here at the Coast Guard Academy. In its most general sense, the government major studies political systems, both domestic and international, through the lenses of cultural studies, political theory, history, and law. To do that, we have a pretty diverse faculty of rotating commissioned officers in the Coast Guard who either have a background in international affairs or some type of staff association to political work within the service. We also have interagency partners from Customs and Border Patrol and the State Department, rotating foreign service officers, as well as a pretty diverse set of civilian faculty, most of whom have some sort of background in politics, international affairs, whether regional or kind of just in general, and also academics. So all of that kind of brings together this goal of producing ensigns that are well-versed in politics, policy, international affairs, and security studies, and who are kind of best positioned to serve in roles in international affairs, political liaison jobs, budget analysis, resource management, and even legal positions within the Coast Guard. As a government major, the classes that you take really depend on what year or what stage of the academy you're in. So fourth class cadets really focus on those general education requirements, kind of building the platform for that Bachelor's of Science degree, a lot of mathematics, chemistries, physics, sort of the general things that are broad brush across all of the majors. It's not until your third class year that you really start to dive into what we consider the general education requirements of the major. So those are your political theories, some of your cultural studies, and even international relations, things that are general and apply to all of the concentrations. Once you get into your second and first class years, you start to focus into one of the three concentrations within the major. So those are international relations, which is what I am, politics, policy, and law, and then security studies. Each of those have specific courses, so as you get more senior, you are able to specialize. Within international relations, you're able to specialize within one specific region of the world or kind of just global affairs in general. The security studies is unique, especially here at the Coast Guard Academy, because of our access to sensitive and classified information. So that provides us a unique capability to study national security and intelligence that most other universities wouldn't have. And then obviously our access as a federal agency to other agencies and groups within the government in DC and also abroad kind of bolsters those connections and abilities for the public policy folks as well. And then as a government major, the two things that you look forward to most, especially moving into your first year, are internships offered and then your capstone assignment that you conduct through your senior year at the academy. So internships, we have quite a variety, and they're pretty competitive, but they range anything from internships at the White House or Congress or Customs and Border Patrol, various intel jobs in DC, to cryptologic units. There are some overseas options studying in Hong Kong or Prague, and then a variety of work within the Coast Guard in intel or in research for port security or things like that. I personally did an internship this past summer for the Borders and Trade and Immigration Institute at the University of Houston through DHS, and we focused on port resilience and port security, and that was something that isn't necessarily specific to what we study here at the Academy, but it was applicable, and it was interagency work with DHS and some of our other partners. So a lot of the internships are kind of external, but can be related back to what we study here at the Academy. And then once you transition out of the internships over the summer leading into your senior year, you start to apply for capstones. And capstones, there's quite a variety for our major. A lot of students take 2400 level courses and have thesis level research papers, and then others will apply into some of the more advanced research projects that are internationally oriented, dealing with Arctic studies, African studies, Latin American studies, Asian Pacific studies, and then there's some other more specific topics in there as well. We also have international conferences in San Remo that we attend for law of armed conflict, and that's a collaborative effort with service academies from all around the world. And then there are also internships at the state legislature in the state of Connecticut here, and a few other more specific topic-based internships. But those all kind of culminate and bring in different elements of what we study across all 4 years and kind of apply them to real-time research or policymaking going on.
Morning, my name is First Class Grace Tarbrake. I'm a civil engineering major here at the Coast Guard Academy. So a little about the civil engineering department. About 10% of the core are civil engineering majors. As civil engineering majors, we take a broad spectrum of classes that kind of give us an intro into civil engineering. So that includes classes in structural engineering, geotechnical engineering, environmental engineering, as well as construction project management. So one of the cool opportunities we have as civil engineering majors is civil engineering related internships. So these will happen over first summer. With COVID, they kind of got a little messed up, but typically you have opportunity to go to the national labs, to go to a civil engineering facility engineering position or a civil engineering unit that are all over the country. And it's just a really cool opportunity to see how what you're learning in class has a real life application and that you could be using it after graduation. So another neat opportunity we have as civil engineering majors is our capstone, which kind of offers a accumulating project for everything we've learned, really put everything together and see how it all works together. So for me personally, my capstone is the Groton Riverwalk redesign as part of their attempt to make historic Groton a little more touristy. Capstones will typically deal with the focuses of environmental, geotechnical, or structural engineering. So mine kind of deals with environmental, geotechnical, and structural all like combined. Some of the other projects we have offered this year include like the redesign of Station Point Judith, as well as the design of an OPC pier up in Newport, Rhode Island. After graduation, there's a variety of career paths available for civil engineering majors. Specifically within the Coast Guard, you can serve at a facility engineering unit or facility engineering position or civil engineering unit. Upon leaving the Coast Guard, there's also a lot of opportunities within the construction project management field, as well as just general civil engineering. So one of my favorite things about the civil engineering major are the people, both the cadets and the faculty. The faculty are just very willing to help us. And they're also just very personal people, willing to give us career advice. And then the cadets just make those long late night grinds just more bearable and just a lot of happy memories from them.
Hello, I'm First Class Jordan Lindsey, and I am a marine environmental science major. And this major really encompasses learning about the world around us, but except from a marine perspective. So there are several courses in chemistry, environmental science, as well as biology. A lot of the classes I am in right now deal with the biology and ecology of the world's oceans, as well as human impact in those environments as well. The Marine and Environmental Sciences major includes many research opportunities available just to explore the operational side of what we learn. A lot of those opportunities would include experiences working with the National Geospatial Agency, as well as opportunities to cruise with the Deep Sea Nautilus. There are also a couple of research facilities in Alaska that Coast Guard Academy cadets are sent to. We also are exposed to a lot of opportunities to participate in our own research through our capstone programs. One capstone program that I am invested in right now is we are looking at the potential to improve anti-fouling paints and layers, so that way we can increase the potential to improve the missions of Coast Guard vessels and the operational workforce. This major definitely has its applications in the Coast Guard workforce. Its primary missions that this major highlights is response ashore and afloat. A lot of times the Coast Guard will have to respond to natural disasters such as oil spills or hurricanes. So taking these courses and engaging in the lab assignments, the coursework, the research, it provides a great background into how the Coast Guard, as well as other agencies that they partner with, respond to these events. There are a lot of things I like about this major. A lot of those things, the most that I really enjoy about the major, one, it's definitely the teamwork. You learn how to work with your team to solve a problem or discover something new or test an experiment. And just also the fact that there are numerous opportunities to create your own experiments and help each other solve a problem. I think it's great. I think it's great, and it's something that's really unique to the major. There's just also the simple aspect of learning about what is in our world. So learning about the biology that makes up our Earth's oceans, as well as maybe even as far as going into the deep ocean structures in our world. So I'm really glad I picked this major.
Hi, I'm first class Maeve Roach, and I'm a naval architect and marine engineer. Naval architecture and marine engineering focuses on the engineering components that go into driving a boat and also the design and geometry of the hull itself. It begins fourth class year. You take statics and calculus and all of those fun classes, and then third class year you actually get into taking a lab in naval architecture, and you start designing your first hull and getting into the program, working with the faculty and staff. Then second class year you get into all of the different engineering classes. So you take material science, you'll take fluid dynamics, heat transfer, thermodynamics, which those were some of my favorite, and just kind of getting a basis for the math and science and everything that goes into architecture and engineering. And then first class year you will do your capstone. So this year I'm focusing on my capstone currently. We're designing icebreakers. So they're split up into smaller groups, and you'll either design a commercial vessel or a Coast Guard vessel. So I'm currently working on designing a Coast Guard vessel. And you work with the faculty, staff, and your classmates, and you get into designing your very own hull. So that is it's a great program. The capstone project begins with your teachers giving you a mission and requirements that you have to meet. So then you go and you have to look up all the different regulations that go into shipbuilding and that whole process. And then you'll look at different similar ships, and you'll start creating different parameters for your boat. So the different lengths and beams that are going to be required to accomplish your mission. And then after that, you'll start designing your hull, and you'll work on the general arrangements, so where different compartments need to go. You have to pick which propeller you want to use, what engine, generator, all of the propulsion units, and then you'll get into model testing. So once you have your hull in your boat, you'll actually foam print it and design it, and we have a big tow tank that you'll use, and you'll run your hull through it, and you'll do resistance testing and see how your hull turns out, and eventually build your own boat. So you work with 2 or 3 other classmates to get this big project done within a year, and the faculty and staff are always there to support you through the learning process. The major also provides a lot of opportunities, especially over the summer. There's naval architecture internships where you can go to a Coast Guard yard and see the dry dock process there. So they'll bring in boats and do renovations and make edits and stuff. So you can go and actually see that over the summer. There's also an opportunity to go on a different platform, so you can switch off like a week or two on certain platforms and see how ship driving and engineering on different boats goes. And you also are not limited to just naval architecture, marine engineering internships. You can go into different domains like mechanical engineering or electrical engineering and do some of those projects as well if that's what you're interested in. My favorite part about naval architecture and marine engineering is the faculty that I work with. They stay late hours to help us get our work done and make sure that we are on the right track with our projects, designs, and schoolwork. So they make learning an enjoyable environment, and that's my favorite part. That's the greatest joy of the major.
Hello, my name is second class Domenico Bulone. I'm from Camden, North Carolina. I'm a part of Windjammers here at the Academy. I do not play any sports though. I'm currently in hotel company and I'm a cyber systems major. So for the cyber systems major, the class of 2022 is the first class to have been enrolled in it. And basically, to give an overview of it, fourth class year you start off learning a lot of fundamentals, like introduction to computing, things like that, to kind of get the brain set on the idea of what it is to be a cyber major. So that comes with coding like MATLAB, C++ in the third class year. And then as time goes on, you learn more about information security, the way that networks are set up, things along those lines. And then going into the second class year now, learning more about network security, kind of getting into the weeds of everything that goes on within network security, how to defend against it, how some attacks work, and along with exploring some attacks that have already happened, things like Stuxnet. For cyber systems majors, a lot of the internship opportunities that we get going into our first class year align with the electrical engineering internships. So we have opportunities such as the National Security Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, Coast Guard, Cyber Command, things like that, where we're allowed to put all of the information that we learn in our classes leading up to that point to the test with actual operational tasks that will make a difference in the world. As a cyber systems major, as we move on in time, we get a bunch of different major elective spaces for our course load. For example, you can take classes that align with the government major like Intel and Democracy, Strategic Intelligence, and National Security Policy. You could take classes that align more with the management major, things like microeconomics, and then there's also a lot of classes that align with electrical engineering, for example, Electrical Engineering 1 and antennas. So for us, we get a lot of different options to kind of broaden our scope and to be able to understand more about what other majors do here.
Hello, my name is first class Samantha Koval. I'm from Mooresville, Indiana, and I am a management major at the Coast Guard Academy. So the management major is essentially the equivalent of a business management major. I like to think of it as like dipping your toe into the many different sections that there is within business. So all throughout the 4 years, we take kind of introductory courses in like information systems and human resources and just general strategic management as well. So you don't really specialize anything, and there's not any actual tracks. There are definitely some choice you can have to the electives you take. So for me, example, my elective this semester is intermediate accounting. So you can definitely go in a more accounting, financial manager route, or you can focus more on just general leadership in management, or you can focus in the more information systems and systems analysis. That's also another one of the electives that I'm taking. So when you start as a fourth class as a freshman, you have all your general freshman classes like navigation, chemistry, calculus, because we all do receive a Bachelor's of Science at the Academy. So it's a Bachelor's of Science in Management. So you have to take so many credits of math, so many credits of sciences to get that STEM portion. But once you have that out of the way, somewhere around your sophomore year, you get to focus a lot more into your major-specific classes, like I said. So you'll take leadership classes and general management, management information systems, and they'll just kind of get more and more specialized as you go along. Everyone gets a basic foundation in economics and accounting, but then as you get into your second class and first class years, you get to be a little bit more specialized in just choosing the electives you go into. So like I said, there's no tracks that you go into, kind of like in, for example, the science major, like your biophys or chemphys, whereas this one you kind of just we all get the same degree, but we get to focus in like whatever niche of management that there is. So going into your senior year at the academy for your firstie summer, you get an opportunity to do an academic internship through the management major, which I had the great privilege of doing this summer, even with all the COVID mayhem. So the internships that I did was actually with Coast Guard headquarters in Washington, D.C. I was assigned to the budget kind of office, which generally is just called CG8. More specifically, I was in CG831, which kind of deals with the yearly budget that the Coast Guard's currently in. They're kind of babysitting the budget and making sure that all of the different sections of the Coast Guard are kind of abiding by their spend down plans and that they'll be good to close out at the end of the fiscal year for the Coast Guard, which is in October. So I got to go there, even though there wasn't a whole lot of people in headquarters because of the coronavirus, and it was a pretty empty cubicle graveyard. But I was able to go in person and sit in on some meetings with the budget officers there and kind of listen to what financial managers in the Coast Guard do and kind of see what that career path would look like if I were to go that route. But specifically what I was actually working on while I was doing the internship, they gave me and another one of my classmates who was completing the internship from the academy, they gave us a project with Coast Guard Mutual Assistance, which is the official relief society of the Coast Guard. And they wanted to see how they could better budget, better spend the gifts that they give in and donations to best serve the Coast Guardsmen and the Coast Guard as a whole. So we created a financial model, basically a fancy Excel spreadsheet, to kind of help them to make those decisions of if they expanded programs or they expanded contributions or they expanded their limits to the loans and the grants that they give out. So we worked about 6 weeks on that project and presented it to them and the Admiral of CG8, and they're pretty pleased with it. But obviously that was in COVID times, it wasn't quite what the normal internships are. So usually there's a number of like 3 or 4 internships with Coast Guard headquarters, mostly, but there's also other internships you can do outside of the major. But Coast Guard 8 and another one called DCMS, which is basically just budgeting in the Coast Guard, is kind of the internship opportunities that we have. And that kind of leads me into the capstone opportunities for first class or seniors at the academy in the management major. So I actually worked with the same people, the client CGMA, to kind of create my own capstone project with them to just kind of build off of what we had started on the first 6 weeks. Obviously we're limited by time and resources, but we kind of worked with them to see how better can the Coast Guard Academy serve you and help you with your kind of performance measures and how to see how they're doing compared to other relief societies. So that is the capstone that I've been assigned to for this semester. All the first class majors, first class cadets in the management major are in a prep course for their capstone. So this semester we'll be doing all the kind of background research for all the different capstones, and then we'll be presenting right before graduation next spring. So there normally are kind of a little bit more wider array of capstone opportunities, but again, we are limited by the pandemic, so we have to do a little bit more localized and not as much in-person interaction with our clients. So this year we're doing a lot with like the female retention study in the Coast Guard and determining performance measures for kind of like the management major in general, and then also determining like the financial literacy of both cadets and just general Coast Guardsmen in general. So those are all the different capstones we have this year, but in previous years they've been a little bit more exotic with kind of creating your own business from the start, analyzing other firms' budgeting practices, but obviously we'll see what happens next year and future years. So those are the capstone opportunities of the management major. So after you graduate, your first tour probably won't have a lot to do with your major unless you're an engineer. no matter what major you are. But beyond that, there is actually an officer specialty code in the Coast Guard that relates to financial management. So you can kind of go every staff tour back to, like, for example, Coast Guard 8, working with the budgeting office, being a financial manager there, and then maybe getting assigned to be a comptroller at another unit. So there is definitely a kind of a path for a specific, like, accounting and financial management within the Coast Guard itself. At the Academy, we actually have the opportunity to start studying to take accreditation test for the Certified Government Financial Manager, which I'm actually in that class right now. So we're basically just studying to take a couple of tests, and then after we graduate, we'll just have to get the required amount of experience and time to be able to be accredited in that way. One of the management instructors who teaches accounting here actually has a CPA as well. So there's definitely those more technical routes that you can go. In terms of getting higher education, like an MBA, most of our teachers have MBAs, especially the ones that are Coast Guard officers. So for grad school, one of the great strengths of the Coast Guard Academy and Academy grads is the ability to kind of go into that higher education, and the Coast Guard will pay for your MBA. So there's different ones you can go to, like leadership ones or just ones in accounting. But just in general, if you didn't want to pursue a career in the Coast Guard, I think it's about the equivalent of a undergraduate in a business administration degree, which is incredibly applicable almost anywhere you go. Just in general, especially with the leadership experience you'll have from being a Coast Guard officer, not in a specific field, but just on a boat or in a sector. So yeah, that's just generally kind of the paths you can go down. You can certainly follow a financial management path within the Coast Guard itself, or you can get out and kind of do amazing in the private sector as well. So one of the things that I like most about the management major in general is the just overall structure, because all of us when we graduate, we're going to be leaders, we're going to be supervisors of people on boats or on stations or sectors. So something that our management department had told us, I remember when I was like a freshman, she was saying that management major kind of prepares you the best out of all the majors just for that general leadership position, because we have classes that are focused on leadership theory and focused on teamwork. So no matter what you're really doing, those lessons are going to stay with you, and those will be the most applicable for your Coast Guard career, and just in general, even not even in the Coast Guard, having that leadership background and focus can really kind of set you up a lot better than perhaps some other majors as well. But beyond that, I personally really enjoy accounting and I enjoy learning about business. I came in as a management major, so this is what I wanted to do. And so I've always pretty much enjoyed all the classes that I've taken and learning about kind of the business world, which again is a pretty applicable topic even when you're out of the Coast Guard, because no matter if you're working in the private sector, you're working for a firm, you're working for a business. And so it's important to know kind of how that business works and what are the strategies for their leaders in there and the accounting behind all of what they do. So just in general, I think it's pretty applicable to whatever you're doing in your life. There's even classes on personal finance, which I think everyone should be able to take and understand, just so that you can have leadership and control of your own life and your own habits as well. Beyond that, there's also no like math and science requirements, which is good for me because I kind of suck at that. And there is just a little bit less homework, no like really long labs as well. So just in general, I think management majors tend to have the best work-life balance out of all the cadets. So especially if you're really invested in a sport that takes up a lot of time, or you want to pursue an incredibly busy military obligation as well, that gives you that time to do so. So it kind of gives you just a more normal college experience in terms of workload and work-life balance. But overall, I really have enjoyed my 4 years as a management major.
Hello, I'm first class Josh Webster, a mechanical engineer here at the Coast Guard Academy. And I'm here to talk to you about mechanical engineering and my experiences. So mechanical engineering is the most broad and general engineering. It covers all disciplines, all aspects. As a fourth class, I started with a general foundation in both the STEM side and the humanitarian side, from calculus to American government. And then third class year is when it started honing in with classes like statics and dynamics. Second class year, it got a little bit tougher with thermodynamics and material science. And now I'm in classes that kind of tie all those things together, such as engineering experimentation and capstone. So to focus more on capstone, my group, I'm working with 2 other mechanical engineering students and 1 faculty advisor, and we're working on green vessel propulsion. So our project is focused on how we can make vessels more efficient through the use of battery banks and optimizing generator efficiencies. Our project is more of a demonstration and a proof of concept, but there are other groups in the mechanical engineering department that are designing new products. So for example, tidal power, ultrasonic, anti-fouling, and even CubeSat, where they're going to be sending something to space, are all utilizing the same design techniques, just on different projects. We also work with the electrical engineers, where we've sent some mechanical engineers over to electrical, and we've gotten some electricals back. We don't have any electricals in our group, but some of the other groups do. All right, now to talk about some internship opportunities over first class summer. Over my first class summer, I worked with 3 Coast Guard cadets and 1 KP midshipman at the Baltimore Yard. And there we measured and analyzed corrosion on the carriers that brought the bigger boats out of the water for dry dock. And then we provided a recommendation to the yard. Additionally, we worked with the same equipment to measure the thicknesses of the barge that was given to them by the Army to determine if they'd be able to hold an 87. Again, we provided a recommendation to the yard. Some of the other opportunities available for mechanical engineers are the national labs, and then outside of mechanical engineering, but still open to them, are opportunities with cyber and different opportunities down in DC with Coast Guard headquarters. Looking past the academy, with engineering, there are numerous opportunities in and out of the Coast Guard to utilize my degree. Starting in the Coast Guard, most engineers that want to pursue engineering in the Coast Guard go student engineer aboard a big vessel. And then from there, you can go to anything from a master's degree to port engineer. You can be on track to go to the yard, or you can go for EO, which is the top engineer on the boat. All of those have their own individual tracks and can be achieved. And then outside the Coast Guard, you can really do anything that needs engineering, because as I said before, mechanical engineering is the most general engineering profession and can be utilized almost anywhere. Just the other week, we had a speaker from Tesla talk to us that graduated the academy and how they utilize their engineering degree in Tesla. My favorite thing about mechanical engineering is sharpening my problem-solving abilities and really solving real-world problems. All the problems that we're being prepared to solve are problems that the Coast Guard and society as a whole are facing and will face in the future. And I think the Coast Guard Academy has done a great job providing us lots of different tools, from SolidWorks to MATLAB to Excel to Arduino, to help us focus in on solving the problem correctly and providing a tangible prototype on how to present your solution to other people. And I think that's going to be a very useful skill both in and out of the Coast Guard.